I want to point out that we are videotaping tonight, and as always, it is made available to social media. It is available to the press that will review it at all. So just be aware of that as well. So please keep your applause to a minimum, or none at all, so that we can get through as many questions as we possibly can. As Cindy mentioned earlier, all the candidates were given in advance kind of a topic, series of topics that we'll be covering tonight. We're going to do 2 questions in each topic. If we can squeeze in more, we will. We'll start. Each of you will answer the same questions, and we'll start with Kim Lasada first, and the next time we'll work right on down the table. So the first topic area is business climate or economic related. And first one actually is something that the governor actually vetoed within the last day or two. But we'd like to get your feeling on the issue. And that's that both houses of the state legislature passed legislation that would restrict use of lower cost aftermarket or remanufactured auto parts in automotive repair, thereby perhaps increasing the cost of the repairs. Did you favor this legislation? Would you disfavor this legislation?
Could you read it again?
Yeah, it actually was just announced on Michigan Capitol Confidential today that the governor vetoed this legislation. Both houses passed a bill that would restrict the use of remanufactured or aftermarket manufactured parts in automotive repairs. Meaning that if I was a machine shop down the street who made a particular part for an automotive engine, it wouldn't be able to be purchased from me in an automotive repair. The repair shop would have to go to the OEM manufacturer, to Ford or Chrysler or whomever. Just, if you have a microphone, just pass it.
Okay, well, I always appreciate when things are done at a local level. Just learning about this right now, I guess my first reaction would be to cut out the middleman. I mean, we need to work for people, not big business. We need to look and see what we can do to keep costs down for everyone. So I guess from what you just said, and that's all the information we have, I don't think I would support that. I would want to know more information. I don't think that it should be sent from the person producing it to another entity so that in order to charge more. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Thank you.
I think some of this had to do with safety as well. And that was to ensure that the parts that were being manufactured. And I have a teacher's voice, so I can talk loud, but can you hear me now?
Yes.
So the importance is make sure that the parts that were being delivered for repair use were done meeting certain standards and safety restrictions. So having to go directly to the manufacturer as the OEM, you know, I agree totally that we want to keep as much business locally as we can, but we have to make sure that things are being done and meeting standards and qualifications and quality.
Thank you.
Well, I was in the car business for 11 years, and I know firsthand that the manufactured parts are more expensive. The cost was high. It was cost prohibitive. It may have turned people away from doing business. You guys all know when you go to the dealership, it's going to be more expensive than you go to somebody outside of the dealership. I don't believe that the restriction should be there. I think as long as we have OEM manufactured parts that meet the same specs, just like off-brand medicine, when we go to get prescriptions, they said it's the same thing. If we can get the same measurements, same design, the same metallurgical metal density or whatever, I'm sure will be fine. So I guess I'm not in support of this restriction. I believe that we need to allow the people to decide themselves if they want those parts, and leave it up to them. I think it'll work out a lot better.
Thank you.
And it's designed to protect the larger manufacturers, by the way.
Yeah.
The bill actually had to do with parts that were manufactured, or if you had your car in for service, and if the car was with 5 years or newer, they had to use factory replacement parts. I absolutely agree with the governor. I am all for choice. I understand I shouldn't say that. I understand the manufacturers trying to protect themselves, that being Ford, Mopar, and everybody else. But I also believe that it should be up to the consumer to make the decision on what's being put into their vehicle for repair and how much they want to pay for it. So I'm for choice.
Thank you. Next question in this segment, we'll start with Mary Brown. Michigan is one of the states that signed on to Obamacare, despite calls by conservatives nationwide that it would fall under its own weight and become more costly. Reports continue to come in that the cost of the state of Michigan is far greater than first forecast. Do you agree that Michigan should be a part of Obamacare? And what would you do to stem the cost?
Obamacare certainly did not represent itself as we thought it would. Every American deserves medical care. There's no question about that. It shouldn't matter what your economical status is. As an American in our country, we should all have medical coverage, excellent medical coverage. Obamacare did not meet that. Obamacare became a nightmare, and Obamacare, you're penalized if you can't afford a policy on your own. So then you're penalized for that. So how are you going to pay for that penalty if you can't pay for your insurance? So it is my opinion that Obamacare did not represent itself as perhaps we had thought it would. I am very strongly in favor of excellent medical care for all Americans. And that is something we should continue to strive for. Obamacare just did not hit the mark.
Gary, I didn't hear the second part of that question. I heard the first part, but I didn't hear the second part.
Reports continue to come in that the costs to the state of Michigan are far greater than first forecast.
Right.
Do you agree that Michigan should be a part of Obamacare? And what would you propose Michigan do to stem the costs?
First of all, Michigan should do anything to stem the cost. They should get rid of the whole thing. We should not have Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act or anything that's similar to that. I know that there's an idea out there to repeal and replace it with something different. But as far as, I'm getting all the reports, and I'm talking to the individuals whose businesses are being hurt right now, and their ability to hire staff and bring people on is being hurt. Everybody everybody's heard the story about individuals going part-time. They've eliminated full-time jobs or cut it back to 32 hours a week so they don't have to pay the insurance. Long-term, it's going to hurt everybody. It's going to hurt the tax base for the country, and I honestly believe we need to repeal Obamacare, and Michigan should not be involved.
I agree Obamacare should be repealed. As a small business owner and as somebody who paid their own insurance for many, many years, I absolutely understand the hardship that it creates. When my son was first born, he had some health issues, and it was right when the Obamacare Act was coming into place. At that point, I was paying $1,300 a month for health insurance. because the only people that would write him was Blue Cross and Blue Shield because of challenges that he had. The one good thing that came out of Obamacare, and you'll probably never hear that out of the Republicans' mouth, is that at least they can no longer have pre-existing conditions be exempted. But other than that, the cost, I don't know what to tell you other than it's not fair, it's creating a hardship, it's creating a non-productive business environment for Michigan and business owners. And there's a lot of games that are being played where companies will purposely keep themselves under 50 employees or whatever because they have to. It's the only way that they can make a profit. It's not fair. And I'm all for repealing Obamacare.
Well, I think we have a consensus, but I was never under the false impression that Obamacare was going to be some great saving grace. I've talked to many people about Obamacare, particularly a neighbor who could no longer use his health care insurance, the health care that we could all keep, lies, and he couldn't afford the Obamacare. I haven't asked him recently, I guess probably my mistake because I'm afraid to. What he's doing, his wife had cancer. I would vote to repeal Obamacare, but we're constantly talking about repealing. We need to figure out what's going to take its place and be sure that's what we want. And we don't want to continue to let the tentacles of the federal government come into our Great Lakes state. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move into topic area of government. With Ms. Rowley next, correct? What committees would you like to serve on and why, if you're elected?
Committees. Education would be one, for the reasons that I stated. I honestly believe that we need to do more with career technical education, and that's a big deal for me. We live in an agricultural community, so to me, being there to support our farmers and their needs is important. And those are just two I can think of. I haven't put any, I haven't done a lot with that. I mean, those are some of the things that I know. And in any committee that would deal with supporting and eliminating regulation for small business, that's a big deal.
Well, I'd like to serve on the Appropriations Committee. I think that as a fiscal conservative, that there's plenty of spots where we could use some new ideas, making this a better world and a better use of our taxpayer dollars. I'd be interested in serving on the Commerce Committee. I think that I could bring a lot to that table. Business background and knowing what's happening in Michigan. One thing as a realtor, I've dealt with a lot of people in a lot of different walks of life. And it has given me the opportunity, while I may not know everything about every job, I do know a lot about most, and certainly willing to learn. But commerce is very important, both in our ag community and for our trade. And then technology. I'd like to serve on the technology committee. Always been somebody interested in technology. I've served on that level for the Realtors Association. Keep up with tech. Tech's becoming very, very important, and certainly think that I could provide good services on those three committees.
Well, I remember something my husband told me, Harry Gass told him, to be a good legislator, you don't need to know a lot about anything. You need to know a little about a lot of things and be able to research, find answers. I am an educator, I'm a small business owner, I have a farm. But I guess I would like to discuss with the other members where they feel I could do work to the best of my ability.
Well, there's no question I would love to be on the education group. I've seen the waste of taxpayer dollars going into our failing school districts and no accountability associated with it. I find that totally unacceptable. And as a financial person with a financial background, I also understand how to budget money. So we have to look at Department of Education and see what value they add. Do they add value to what we do? Are they actually doing what they need to do? I can tell you firsthand what I've experienced being in a distressed school district is that we've had one consultant after another consultant coming in who have absolutely no clue on what to do to make it better. So definitely on the education committee, and also looking over budget. Give me that budget. So every dollar we spend has to have a very dedicated end result. We have to know what that money is being spent for, and we have to make there to be some accountability. There has to be a result for every dollar we spend. Let me add it.
Thank you. The sheriff's presence notwithstanding, I can assure you this is a very safe room tonight, based on the people that I know that are here that are carrying. We saw a horrific incident in Orlando this week with tremendous outcry for gun regulation. What is your position on that? What involvement do you think the state government should have with private possession of firearms and purchase of firearms? Oh, I'm sorry. Ryan, Mark starts next.
Can you crack that window a little bit? So the tragic week indeed, there's no question about that. Hearts go out to all the families in Orlando, and certainly our prayers are with them as well. That being said, I am pro Second Amendment, pro carry. Believe that the right training,
Sorry, Peter, I'll turn you in.
the right oversight, that there's no reason why people shouldn't be allowed to carry law-abiding citizens. And not going to change my opinion on that. My heart goes out to those involved, but that being said, Second Amendment rights are something I'm not going to waive from.
I feel that the current laws are adequate. I just feel that there is a need to enforce the laws that are in the books.
I don't care, but my son does, my son-in-law does, and I do respect the rights of our Second Amendment. I don't know what else to say. It was a tragedy that happened. It's a tragedy. We're having incidents continuously. But I also will tell you that we have a backlog. We can't seem to keep up with our homeland security. And that's an issue. And it's deeper than whether or not you carry a weapon. It's deep enough that we have to make sure that we're vetting people coming into our country and to make sure that they're following the rules of our country. So.
Well, my thoughts are Barack Obama's guys get to carry guns. Why shouldn't we be able to carry guns? I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment. I think, what happened down in Florida and Orlando was a tragedy. And like I've heard, had somebody been in the room carrying, might have been a little different outcome of the situation. And so we need to be able to carry. And everybody that has an opinion about it, especially with what's going on, seems to miss what's going on. And that's disappointing. You know, we got people coming to our country, and people becoming radicalized, and deciding that they're going to take out 50 people or 49 people. So I am a supporter of the Second Amendment, and I believe that we, at the state of Michigan, continue to support it.
Okay, just for those that came in late, my two granddaughters are walking around here with cards. If you wish to submit a question for the next part of the forum, you can write it on the card, and they have a little card you can write it on and some pens, so just wave your hand at them and they will give you one.
Are you guys okay with that microphone on the cord? We can go over the top of the table if you like.
If you could bring that mic right here and set it right here so we can have two mics
Well, that'd be a
there.
good idea. Excellent idea. Okay, on to the next topic area of the environment. I know that Miller Oil Company out of Kalamazoo does a lot of exploration in Michigan. They have big tracks along the southeastern part of Michigan. They have a track in the upper part of the Mitt. What are your thoughts on fracking and regulations that should be placed in Michigan to protect the environment?
Well, I think Michigan, first of all, does a great job protecting our state, our waters, our land. I am in support of fracking. I have no problem with fracking. I believe that we need to do whatever we can to keep costs low for people. I believe in all different types of energy. I have solar. I haven't had an electric bill since July 4th, 2014. We had a wind turbine that fell down. We got solar. It's fantastic. And I'm against any laws that prevent me from having my solar, which we have an impending one now that would make me sell my solar energy to the big power company and buy it back. That's crazy. So I'm in favor of fracking.
I think that fracking is a dangerous territory that we're walking on. We've been fracking for 50 plus years. But what we're starting to see as our population expands, we go out to taking over different, our forests are disappearing. That we're creating voids in our earth. When we remove something, it leaves something behind. So we need to be cautious as we move forward. I totally agree with renewable energy and expanding that and the use of it, and our state has been progressive in that action. So I would recommend that we continue to push forward with alternative energy, renewable energy, and fracking, I believe, is dangerous territory that has been successful in the past, but things are changing. We are not the same world we were, our earth is not the same. And when we deplete things from it, we are leaving voids. So I suggest that we act very cautiously.
I support renewable energy. And anything we can do to keep energy costs low. Energy costs continue to go up, everybody sees. And I support fracking. I believe that we shouldn't regulate. I mean, everything is being regulated. I mean, everybody's finding a reason to regulate everything. And I think at this point, as long as we are protecting our waters and we get into making sure that our water system is fine, we'll be fine.
I used the new mic, Troy. Fracking's a process in order to extract natural gas. It has been going on for decades. The issue, or what we've seen recently, is actually the byproduct of fracking when the extraction takes place or the initial wells are drilled. A typical house well is going to be like 60 feet deep to a couple hundred, and when they frack, well is going to go approximately 1,800 feet down, linear feet down. Again, I think that the status quo currently is fine. Certainly there's some dangers with fracking, but there is with everything else. I don't believe that it's creating some new natural disaster waiting to happen. The way that they go about it is highly regulated and very scientific. And it produces a natural gas that's cheap. We have a lot of it here in Michigan. Creates a lot of jobs. I myself have 3 pipes from A&R Pipeline, or Canadian Gas now, that run through my backyard, and it's essential to Michigan, and I support the continued and proper fracking techniques.
Thank you. I will interject this. About a year and a half ago, the Two Rivers Coalition up in Waterloo hosted a symposium on fracking. There was a representative from Miller Oil there was a representative from the DEQ, and a representative from Environmental Activist Group. They posted that whole presentation on their website in PowerPoint format. I don't know if it's still there, but you may want, it's very, very informative. One of the things that was obviously clear out of that presentation is that there are not enough DEQ inspectors to follow up on the wells, both fracking and oil. But I'd advise you to go and take a look at that website, see if it's still there. It's very, very informative. Next question regarding the environment, and Kim Lozano already touched on this a little bit. There are 2 proposals in the legislature regarding energy competition and a previous law that is expiring. Representative Nesbitt's proposal would end open market competition. Representative Glenn's proposal would expand market choice and competition for schools and public organizations, and would expand the net metering program for customers who generate their own energy via solar or other methods. How would you vote on these proposals? I think Mary Brown is first this time.
There is a conflict right now between our houses on which way to go when we go into our new energy prospects. 10% of the utility's electric load can contract with an alternative energy source or supplier. Lower our electric rates. I believe that a consumer should have choice on what they choose for their power needs. So I agree with that. I also agree with our legislation that we just ended in 2015, our push for alternative renewable energy.